Well, we were expecting a shootout, and each team delivered. Arizona State topped Texas Tech 68-55, and there's a lot of things to go over, so we're just going to get to it. Kalen Ballage tied the FBS record with 8 touchdowns. I mean, quick takeaways, Ryan.
He was a monster tonight. He only had 15 touches. He had 13 rushes. He had 2 receptions. He really only had 1 long run. That was the 76-yard touchdown run. I loved the way they used him in that wild double formation. Texas Tech could not stop him. They ran it, I think, 6 times. He scored 6 touchdowns. So if it's not broken, why fix it? I like that Chip Lindsey didn't try to get fancy around the goal line. There were no slants like we saw against Oregon last year. It was, mano a mano. I'm going to run the football. And the ASU offensive line gave a lot of credit. I know Kalen Ballage gave them a lot of credit in his post-game press conference. He brought them to the press conference. They looked great tonight.
And now we're going to talk. Manny Wilkins had kind of a breakout performance, really looked good. I know there wasn't many passing touchdowns, but they still put up 68 points, and he was really the catalyst for a great offensive performance as the team.
Coach Graham actually talked about that after the game, Zach. Manny Wilkins made that jump, so to speak, mentally from the first game into this game. He hasn't really had that much game experience. I mean, granted, he is a redshirt sophomore coming in, but to see him take care of the football tonight, have no real big mistakes, no errors where, it would have been catastrophic and game-changing. He managed the game extremely well, and he was a playmaker at the same time. We saw him break out a few times during their RPO stuff. He's definitely someone that defenses have to respect. Obviously, you have Demario Richard, Kalen Ballage, but Manny Wilkins is definitely a key catalyst going forward.
And let's not forget the architect of this great offensive performance was Chip Lindsey. Todd Graham was very complimentary of him in that post-game presser. So, Kaelen, what did you think of the game and the game plan that he called?
Okay, I'll get in trouble in the press box because I kept calling Chip Lindsey a genius, because he is a genius. When you talk about how he incorporated N'Keal Harry, who's coming in as, I believe he's 6'4", 220, however big he is. I mean, he's huge, right? 5-star recruit. He's been throwing him slants like he was throwing Mike Thomas back at Southern Miss. The way that you're utilizing him, the way they're utilizing Tim White out of the backfield. I think he led the team in targets tonight with 8. Kalen Ballage, like you pointed out, Ryan, he had 4 targets out of the backfield, and then using him exclusively in the red zone, and then allowing Demario Richard to kind of be that lead back who carries the ball in between the tackles, and allowing Kalen Ballage to be that explosive type player for them. I think that the way he's incorporated Manny Wilkins as an offensive weapon as well, there's so many different parts, and that's the one thing that Todd Graham brought up, excuse me for rambling, but there's so many moving parts with Chip Lindsey's offense that it's hard for defenses to stop. Granted, Texas Tech isn't the greatest example moving forward, but this offense is amazing. It's fun to watch. 68 points.
Now, contrary to popular belief, if you look at the score, defense was played in this game. And so you have to talk about Keith Patterson and the defense. I mean, they gave up 55 points, but nobody was really mad at the defense or disappointed in the defense's performance in the post-game presser.
I think you had to expect that there were going to be points scored. I don't think anybody expected ASU to win a 14-10 game. Were there some breakdowns in the secondary? Yes. Texas Tech scored on 3 plays over 55 yards, and that stuff needs to be corrected. There were a couple plays that could have been prevented if you would have tackled better, and ASU was very hit or miss tackling in space tonight, but I think those are very correctable things. And for a secondary with so much turnover, when you talk about Kareem Orr moving from safety to corner, you talk about Armen Perry coming back, they haven't had Layu yet, and no Christian Sam, no Marcus Ball. Playing, Karan Crump at Sam linebacker instead of at the double backer. For a defense in transition, I thought this was a decent performance. 55 points. They gave up over 600 yards. That's not going to look great in the box score, but especially in the fourth quarter, 2 of Texas Tech's final 4 possessions were turnovers.
Yeah, ASU won that turnover battle 2-0, and so you have to be impressed at least on that front. And now ASU did mess with their front 7 quite a bit because they were missing guys like Salamo Fiso and Lai Mokiola wasn't 100%. So what did you see out of their front 7?
It was interesting, especially when you're dropping guys in coverage. Carlos Mendoza did, a solid job. Karan Crump, like you talked about, Ryan, moving at the Sam position, I thought he did pretty well. DJ Calhoun is, the difference maker. He's the most versatile of the 3. He's able to step in different roles. And I think that he played very well tonight. And talking about the front line, though, specifically, JoJo Wicker, I mean, Todd Graham talks about him all the time. And I'm surprised I didn't talk about him tonight. But the way that they were utilizing him out wide and that 9-tech, able to get kind of that extra step when facing the right tackle tonight. He was bringing a lot of pressure off the edge against Patrick Mahomes, not really giving him a lot of time to really be able to set up and throw into different spaces, kind of forcing Patrick Mahomes to dink and dunk. And I think the front 7 for all intents and purposes, did its job tonight. I think that moving forward, I think you're going to see a lot more incorporation of, four-man fronts like they were doing tonight. They're really relying on just the front four to get after Mahomes and, stop the run as well. They're really efficient there. But I think, the pass rush is something that ASU fans may not be excited about, but 2 sacks against a high IQ quarterback like Mahomes, I mean, that's all you can really expect.
We heard it in the post-game presser from Todd Graham and Manny Wilkins. Bottom line, they're 1-0 this week, 2-0 on the season. There's a lot of things to take away from this game. So as always, stay tuned to HouseOfSparky.com. For Kalen Jones and Ryan Bafaloukos, I'm Zac Pacleb.